elk hunting. How many people have seen an elk? All right. How many people have seen an elk in the mountains? Yeah? All right. Elk hunting is really cool. It could be one of my most fun things I do. Now picture that picture, okay? Elk typically live out in the mountains, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado. So picture yourself sneaking up on the other side of this mountain. You get to the top, you look over, and there's an elk that big staring there looking at you. And I usually do it with bow and arrow. And so that means you got to get like within 20, 30 yards of an elk that size. And the hard part is getting that close. The other thing that's really hard is to keep your heartbeat from not pounding out of your chest in order to be able to get the shot off. So that's elk hunting. So my, let's see here. So I got the book that's just about done. It's called The Muddy Elk. And it's ready to, well, I already went through the editor once. Here's these pictures I just found on the internet that I thought would be really cool and explains what happened really well. I'm out on my elk hunt and I hear a bull bugle. And we heard a bull bugle, right? Anybody hear the bull bugle before? No? Yeah? A couple of you? And okay, we got, uh-oh, here it is. So ready? You got any elk in the area here? No? Yeah. Yeah? There's always a little delay. Come on. Listen for that elk. Really? Come on. That's what an elk bugle sounds like. Is that crazy? So, okay, hold on. Stick with me. Hey. Okay, so what happens is, listen up now. Listen up. When you're in the mountains, you guys, and you hear that, sometimes you don't know where the first one came from. So you wait and listen, and then when you finally can pinpoint the direction that elk is bugling from, you start heading right to it. Well, this was an area I was pretty familiar with, so I thought I knew where he was in these big meadows where there's some wallows. And do we know what a wallow is? That's what a wallow is, you guys, a big muddy puddle. And the bull elk in the fall love to lay in the wallow, and it makes them look mean and muddy, and they just love that. So I kind of thought that's where the elk was, so I started hurrying down to the wallow. Well, I'm going downhill fast. And who's hiked in the mountains? Anybody? What happens when you're hiking in the mountains? What happens? Can you breathe really good when you're hiking in the mountains? No, you can't breathe really good. So I'm hurrying, running down this mountain, and I realize after about 5 minutes, I can't even breathe. I stop. I'm trying to get my breath, going, oh my goodness. With that, the bull starts bugling again. And as I start heading downhill, I look over, and I realize I passed a set of antlers in the grass. And I cannot figure out how can I pass a set of antlers in the grass. These animals are huge, right? And the grass is only about that tall. So with that, I stop. I kind of get down on my knee behind a tree. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the elk stands up. And he was in the wallow. And I never saw him. And I was walking right past him. So now I'm trying to figure out what to do. Well, with that elk lays back down in the wallow. I've never witnessed anything so cool in my life. Upside down like a dog, kicking his legs and up and down, and jumps up like a horse and starts bucking around. And I'm watching, trying to figure out what is going to happen here and how am I going to actually get this elk. So with that, in the meantime, I keep hearing the bull bugling. So there's two elk. This guy was like a satellite, and a satellite bull means that he's kind of off from the herd. The big elk has got the herd, maybe the other cows, the females, together, and he can't quite be part of that party, so he just hangs out the outside and watches them. So I'm happy getting an elk like that, right? I've never gotten one. With that, it jumps up, starts running down the hill, and I call. Anybody here know what a call sounds like? No? Yes? If anybody thinks they know, let's hear it. What do you think? You'd think I'd be able to have this figured out. Where? Oh, there it is. Ready? Okay. Here we go. This is what a cow call sounds like. So kind of loud, right? So, okay. Hold on, stick with me. So I call. But you know what he does? The elk does exactly what he's supposed to do. He stops dead in his tracks. But in the meantime, I'm kneeling down like this. I have a tree right here blocking me, but he ran down the hill, stopped, and I realized when he's looking at me, I got nothing to block him anymore. So I've got my bow in front of me, and I kind of try to hide behind my bow going, oh no, he's looking right at me. He's going to see what I'm doing. So he stands there and stares at me for a couple minutes, and with that, I go, ow, with my mouth to try to just see what he's going to do. Kind of sound like a cow myself. And you know what he does? He walks right to me. So I'm sitting there, and I'm down on one knee, and I've got an elk probably me to you away, 2 steps. And I'm hiding behind my bull thinking, am I going to get killed? Is he going to run me over? I don't know what he's going to do, right? And I can hear his nose sniffing, trying to figure out what I am. I'm thinking, oh boy, just please leave, get out of here. This is all over with. I didn't think there's a chance I was going to get that elk, because usually they smell you and they are gone. Well, after like a minute, and trust me, the longest minute of my life, he turns and slowly walks away, acting like he didn't care who I was. So, needless to say, I got excited. I pulled back. I did the cow call again with my mouth, and he turned broadside, and I got my first elk. But I'm telling you what, my heart, when I finally it all happened, whoo, my heart was pounding out of my chest. It was absolutely crazy. So that is elk hunting, and that's coming in my Muddy Elk book.